Hi and welcome back to the git-python development stream. This is part 2 of the previous session that I had to interrupt for a moment, where we are trying to implement submodule rename with all the bits and pieces that are required to do that. It turned out not to be as trivial as I was thinking it was, but I think we are getting there step by step. I mean, really. I have made sessions where things just worked out fine, but this one is kind of tricky because submodules in the current implementation are tricky. So we still have lots of traceback going on, and I think that should be just removed right now, just to get a better idea of what's actually happening here. And we are on rename 941. Oh, look, I don't get the module anymore. Why? Because it's still pointing to the old name. All right, I have to just, I think this is kind of a good point or position in time where I should rename myself officially, like so that module will find itself. Can't set attribute, because it's a read-only property and my name is maybe cached. It is. So actually it's that. That's our actual name attribute, fine. Now is fine, as file takes exactly one argument, fair enough. Test submodule 751. What about an OS path join here? That's better. And we are good. We are definitely good. Awesome. Did that run? It should. Yes. Actually, we should say, okay, as we are adding something here, we should obey to the default rules that Git applies. So we would expect this to be the case if Git is new enough. So what we can do here is need git file submodules, call this, and if we need this, then this should be a file. And it just needs the git command. We can pass parent git, it's the same everywhere anyway, like so. Good, that should still be the case. Yes. And this should still be running. Yes. Good. That seems to be all right. I have no reason to believe that it's not all right, because we're accessing the module here and that's kind of all there is. Yeah, I think we're good, even though in the last, the last assertion, we can just have a look and have a look at it with our own eyes for a moment. There should be a parent repository. We did not commit the change. So here's the rename. My module short name, okay. Fine, we could commit it, but didn't do that yet. Then it's in git config, where we should also be renamed, that's true. And last but not least, well, I don't need a tree there. Let's go into git modules short name. Awesome. So that has also been renamed. And git submodule should properly tell us that this submodule is there and it doesn't have a minus in front of it. Terrific. So rename works. Yeah. And what we also want to do is, if we move something, that's the second part of the ticket, by the way. So there is a ticket that says submodule move does not update RFs. I mean, that's already fixed. But it also says it would be nice if the submodule name would still correspond to the working tree or the checkout path that it has. And I'm thinking the same, because by default the name of the submodule is the working tree path relative to the parent repository, which kind of is, it's a link in a way. So if you move the one, you basically just want to rename the submodule as well. That just makes sense. And this is why, in case the name of the submodule is equal to the working tree directory, we shall automatically rename the submodule too. That's just that. And that's something we will try and implement. So I think we will do it next. First, do some cleanup. Okay. Wrong. It's flag 8. I say okay without realizing what kind of shit I wrote there. Base 1115. Of course, plenty of trailing white spaces here. 414. Yes, 419. Sure. 953, too many blank lines. How dare you? Like so. Yep, like so. Test submodule 725. That always happens. Let's say most of the time this happens for some reason. Good, flag 8 should be fine. And I think that's good enough for an intermediate commit. Lots of changes here. Okay. Yeah. I think I could as well name that edit git-conf. Autocomplete is a bit out of control here. Edit git config parser, rename section. Oh, really? Edit submodule, rename. All right. That's the API changes that we did here. And I think that's quite all right. Good for now. Let's add this. Kind of fixes part of our ticket here, 238. And yeah, for now I don't fix it. I fix it with the next one when we actually have the special case in move and the test for this. All right, maybe the submodule name should be the submodule path. So then we can just use this one. Or maybe, do we have a separate test for move? No, not yet. Yeah, I'd rather I'd like to keep it together here so I can use this sandbox in order to test the new move functionality as well. So let's go there. Module path. So here we do what we do. Rename the index entry. Yeah, I think that's all right. And last but not least, if self, our own path. Where do I write it? There I write it. Let's cache it here so that we can compare if previous is mpath equals our name. Auto rename submodule if it was just if its name was default, that is the checkout directory. Good. So that should be as easy as sm rename to the new path, which is module path. Do we manipulate this to make sure it's relative? Yes. To relative test module checkout path. That's the one. That is relative. Yes. Okay. So that should be all. Yeah. That should be it. And it should do everything it needs to do. And of course sm self name like so. So in theory this will work like it did before for everything in the submodule implementation. Oh, I didn't actually run anything. Sad. So let's have a look at this one in the meanwhile. Let's keep name and folder equivalent. So I guess we can indeed, that's already a kind of more complex name. So we can do it like that as name. And now we rename, let's just move this for now. Right away, I mean. And yeah. Wait, that's just the rename into myself. Now we can move it. And it should rename into something we move it to, and then we move it again to a short name. Yeah. So let's move it into a subdirectory of itself is a bit difficult always. So we don't do that. Instead, let's just rename it to something else. Let's move it to something else. sm move. Module path should be renamed my name. New path is that. So this means that the name should also be new path now. And now we rename it again. And the rest of the test should be as it was before. Yep. Renames. Submodule renames should rename. Submodule move should rename the submodule if name and path were equal. Like that. Can we shorten this somehow so that we don't have we don't exceed our line limit. Yeah, like that. That's a perfect way to shorten it, I suppose. Global name SM is not defined. What? Where is that? It's a move. I thought I fixed this. No, here I didn't fix it. Self path. Fair enough. Really? It does work right away? I am amazed. But hey, the code itself wasn't that gorgeous, or it wasn't that difficult after all. But it's good to know that sometimes things still work as you think they should, right away. So, am I confident about this? Yeah, pretty much so. I guess I will just prepare commit, run all tests in the background, and say I fix 2, 3, 8. Good. There's a test for this. Test work. I would hope that we didn't annoy Flake by adding just a few lines. We might though, so I'm always checking this. And that is it. Another successful fixture of not just one ticket, but 2. That's quite amazing. There we go. So that one is closed, and that one can be closed now as well. Good. So yeah, we're left with a few more, but relatively minor issues, except for this one and that one. But I will just do the other ones now. Oh yeah, this one we are waiting for actually. I should put feedback on there. And feedback, but that's not so important. We can probably fix this ourselves anyway. Yeah, so I guess I will be back with fixing all of these simple issues here.